When it comes to animal welfare, we as concerned citizens can make a difference by lending our voices and calling our state legislators. Ask them to vote for any measure that supports animal welfare. Currently, there are two hot issues that strike a chord with Americans across the country. One of them is the slaughter of horses for human consumption. The method of horse slaughter is brutal and inhumane. In 2007, over 100,000 horses were slaughtered for the sole purpose of selling their meat overseas for human consumption. Recently, the last 3 remaining horse slaughter plants in the U.S. were shut down by state law. However, until federal legislation is passed, American horses continue to suffer a brutal death by being exported to Canada and Mexico for slaughter. With the absence of federal legislation, there is always the possibility another horse slaughter facility could open in any of our states. I wanted to visit State Senator Jeff Plale to see what we were doing here in Wisconsin to prevent a horse slaughter plant from opening here.
When I first became involved in this issue, interested in this issue, is when they were debating it in Illinois. And they were banning the slaughter of horses for human consumption. They had a horse slaughter plant there. And I started wondering, well, if that plant leaves Illinois, is there any chance that it could come here? Because I certainly don't want it here in Wisconsin. When I looked at the statutes, there is no prohibition currently in Wisconsin on the slaughtering of horses for human consumption. Now, a few years back, the legislature did pass legislation that would prevent a plant that already slaughters cows or pigs or sheep from slaughtering equine animals in that same facility, but there's no actual outright prohibition on it. And what I'd like to do with my piece of legislation is say that if you're even thinking about locating a horse slaughter plant here in Wisconsin, don't think about it, because you're not welcome here. Because that is an interstate commerce issue, that's not something that we at the state level can regulate. The one thing we can regulate is the actual placement of these facilities here in the state of Wisconsin. That's where the federal legislation is really needed, because anytime you're transporting those type of any type of transport issues that cross state borders, then it's interstate commerce. Oh, there'll be opposition, sure, and I think it's from people who truly just don't understand the issue. If they try to use the argument, well, it's a jobs issue, well, there aren't any jobs in this industry now because the industry doesn't exist here, and that's what we're trying to prevent. Horses are farm animals, they're companion animals, they're racing animals, they're beautiful animals, they serve many, many wonderful purposes, but food ought not be one of them. Once the bill is introduced, it will be assigned to a committee. Once it goes to the committee, it would then come to the full Senate and then make the same path in the State Assembly. The one thing that folks can do is contact their legislator and let them know that this is something that's important to them. Send them an email, drop them a note, make a call to their office. You can go on the state website and find out who your legislator is. It's a very easy system to navigate, but get involved. If it's something that you really care about, let your legislator know that. Because if it's important to an awful lot of people back home, it's going to become important to that specific legislator.